losing a loved one, or someone, passing on to the other side, is that we have no idea like what's going on. Do you know what I'm saying? We have no idea where they at, how this whole thing works. Do you know what I'm saying? There's no way well, let me not say there's no way. Perhaps there are ways, but it's very confusing and difficult for us to reach out beyond that. There's definitely a major barrier if someone passes on. Do you know what I'm saying? And we don't have any facts. We don't have any knowledge. We have hopes. We have faith. We have belief that, this person is somewhere better than here in a realm that is serving them or lifting them up. Do you know what I'm saying? But we like our brains.
Yeah,
can't
it's hard. It's hard to imagine a place that you've never seen or anything. Like comparison, even like none of us honestly know what happens. Like, because it's like trying to imagine what a soul looks like. What is the thing that animates a human's body, and what is the thing that leaves, and when it leaves, where does it go? Because if you can't even see it in someone, like it's harder to imagine. Or okay, once there's just flesh and there's no more soul, what happened?
Yeah. And like, yeah, you guys, so like when you're talking about that particular, like a soul leaving like a body, like I've seen the difference. Okay, when you know someone and what they were like when they were alive, like they were, I don't know, there was just something about them, because that soul, I guess, is still in the body, right?
The spark.
And then once it's gone, it's like a thing.
The lights are out. Something is left. Like it's left.
Like it's not that person anymore. And for me, when I said that, like I felt like maybe that's who the person really was. Like who the person really was.
The essence.
Yeah, the essence of the person has left. Because that's who they were. This was just when they say the body is just a vessel for. Something else to live in there. I felt that, and I understood that, because I remember seeing like a body, and I was thinking, okay, I see that it's this person's body, but like, where's them? Like, I can't, like, there's something missing, And it was really strange. But again, it gave me hope, because I felt like I always hear about like the spirit world, and I'll have my own dreams and like about like the spirit world and what it's like, And remembering the person's essence and what they were, right? They can only reside in the space that they were in. Like they can only, like, I think the spirit can only live in a place where like that kind of peace, goodness, and all of that can exist, right? And I don't think they can, like, that soul, their essence can exist outside of like that, if that is making sense, So that gave me hope, because knowing that this person was a good person, knowing that they like genuinely cared and they loved and they were all of these things, right? I know that wherever their soul is, it might be because maybe like it is like in as much as it is a shock for everyone else that is seeing that death happen, maybe even for the soul, for it to adjust to the spiritual world, there's some maybe steps that they have to like go to get to that peace or whatever it is that they need to get to. I don't know, I'm just saying, but I feel like, for them to get there, eventually they're going to get to that peaceful space that was them. Like, it was them. They just need to find their way there,
What do you think of a line by Damian Marley where he goes, the body's just a vehicle transporting the soul. It's what's inside the vehicle that's beauty to behold, That also gives me peace when I think about like people that have passed on, because it's like I saw that this person's essence, I saw their light, right? And now that they no longer have a physical body to tie that light down, that light is in this, like, it's basically in this star left the body to be a part of a constellation. It's kind of what you're saying, Warren. This light has now gone to join all the other lights, where like in the world of light, where everywhere around, everybody's just shining, because we're no longer tied to our physical bodies. Because you must remember also, it's our physical bodies that tie us to past pains, for instance, right? Like your body, whenever you think about a traumatic experience, your body reacts like you're going through it again. So now when you have nobody to remember all these bad things, then it's just you, your essence. Like we're talking about your God mode, your essence when you came to earth as a young man, your inner child. Like now your inner child is free. And now you're just surrounded by inner children that feel like you know what I mean? Like there's harmony. It's like, for me, when I look up at that, like it's that type of idea with the night sky where it's a constellation. There's so many stars and all of them are shining together to brighten up the dark. You know what I mean? For me, that's how I feel. Oh, that's what gives me peace about the people that I've lost, that have passed on to the other side. Because like you're saying, what if I saw them, if I saw their light, then I know what that was God. Mm-hmm. They are one with God. So they are stars in a constellation surrounded by nothing but the light that they were on earth, you know?
Mm-hmm. What do you, as I was asking the question, it escaped me.
Oh, snap. Yeah. But like, obviously that's a more personal approach. The traditional approach, obviously, like, as psychology would tell us, is that you have to go through the 5 phases, right?
For sure.
Which is, and also they say, it's never, like, you don't go through all the steps
to reach the end.
You don't go through all the steps in a sequential order. Like, they don't go in sequence, right? Like, with all the 5 steps, you keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth until you are at the final step, which is acceptance. But then even with the acceptance, sometimes you might go back a step. But once the acceptance is consistent, then you know, okay, now you're done grieving, you've healed, because you finally accepted that. Like, the loss is real, but you know that there's life after the pain, or you know that the light that you feel like you've lost has gone on to be an even brighter light, you know? Like, if we're talking, but let's just go through the steps. So there's anger, right? Where you're like, no, how can you do this to me, God? I needed this person so much. How can you take this person? I mean, you anger at anything, because, you know, like, I mean, yeah, sometimes we feel like people were complicit in them being here. So we're angry at them, at the person, because we feel like, but why did you have to go and do that? You could have been here with me if you just hadn't done that. So there's anger, right? There's depression, you know? Obviously you feel low because you relied on this person. You felt like, you know, you needed, or you felt like you felt more alive with this person. And now that they're gone, it literally feels like a part of you is also gone. And like now you feel depressed, right? There's bargaining, right? Bargaining where you feel like, where you're bargaining, where you're like, I can't accept this. Like, I mean, in the extreme, you might even say something like, okay, like if this person's gonna go, then maybe if I go too, then it won't hurt as much, right? There's bargaining and there's denial. Denial is when you just can't accept that this is happening, where you would rather just fantasize that, no, this is just a bad dream. If I go back to sleep, when I wake up, I'm gonna walk into the room and there's my person gonna be, you know? And so there's anger, there's depression, there's bargaining, there's denial, and then finally there's acceptance, right? So a part of the work is allowing yourself to go through all these things again and again until you always end up at acceptance. So even on a day where you wake up bargaining, like, but why can't we just go back to the way things were, right? The work to do is to actually cue yourself or find ways to remind yourself, okay, this is where we're at, this is what we're working towards. This has happened, there's no going backwards, right? So as much as you feel like you want to bargain, unfortunately, it's not going to help you. Because also another thing I feel like that became very important for me was to remember the people in their best light. Remember how they treated me. Remember what they wanted for me. And then when I think of it like that, then I'm reminded of, no, this person wanted me to be the best that I can be. And if I'm sitting here bargaining and not moving forward with my life, I don't think that's for me. You know what I mean? So that helps you to keep moving forward. Because the reality of it is, I think the reason why denial also is one of the steps, and it might be the biggest or the step that a lot of us spend the longest time in, is because when we form a connection with someone, like, you literally become another you. It's like now there's 3 of us, right? There's them, the individual, there's you, the individual, and then there's this third person that you guys become, right? So, like, when you lose that, it literally feels like a part of you is dying. died. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it hurts so much because, bruh, like none of us have ever lost a limb, but imagine how much losing an arm would hurt. Now imagine losing a piece of your soul. My God, of course that's gonna hurt, bro. Of course you'd rather like act like, no, this is not happening, this is not happening, or this can't be happening, this can't be happening. It's because we make those connections, we make them so deep and they become such an important part of us. You know what I mean? But if back to the whole thing that we were saying like last week about how, from our inner child, like that is, we're a mold, you know? And everything that happens and everything that gets said to us and everything that we interact with is a part of molding us. You know what I mean? And it like that, then we have to trust the process. We have to exercise faith and trust that, okay, this person has shaped me as much as they can now, right? They've had to move on to go shine their light somewhere else. And as much as it hurts, because it feels like I'm losing a huge chunk. I thought my sculpture was gonna turn out like this, but now I've just such a huge chunk. I don't know if I'm still gonna look the same. Like I don't know how to feel about this whole process anymore. Because, you know, it's like, what else am I gonna lose? You know, now you get scared about the future. Now you want to retreat, and you know, now you're depressed because it's like, why even try? If you can just lose a person that you love like this, if you can just lose a part of yourself like this, why love? Why try? Why dream? Why create? Why try? You know? So the point is to keep moving. Is to know that you're just going through the motions. You're going through the motions. And what's most important, or the beautiful thing about our brains and having memories, is we get to choose our relationship with this person that's passed. You know, we can decide that, okay, I'm going to preserve this